The Vietnam national football team is the national football team representing Vietnam in international football competition and is managed by the Vietnam Football Federation. In the FIFA World Rankings, Vietnam's highest standing was in the first release of the figures, in September 1998, at 84th. The team is currently ranked 129th in the world, 20th in Asia and 2nd in Southeast Asia by FIFA. By the late 1950s, known by the name South Vietnam national football team became one of the 4 strongest teams in Asia, as they advanced in the final round of 1956 AFC Asian Cup, 1960 AFC Asian Cup, finishing 4th both times. The team also won 10th Merdeka tournament in Malaysia, 1966. Vietnam is one of the most successful teams in Southeast Asia along with Thailand, Singapore, Indonesia and Malaysia. Winning the ASEAN Football Championship 2008 and other small competitions and still improving today. While Vietnam was split into North and South Vietnam, 2 national teams existed and both were controlled by similar Vietnam football associations. After the 2 countries unified in 1976, the Vietnam Football Associations was renamed to Vietnam Football Federation. History. Prehistory. Football was introduced to Vietnam in 1896 by the French. It was first introduced in Cochinchina. It later spread to other parts of Vietnam. The Vietnamese learned the game from the French before creating their own teams. On July 20, 1908, the first Vietnamese football teams with Vietnamese players had their first match where Fair Ma to the first team defeated Team Car Pound and Angstrom Copyright I with a score of 2-0. In 1928, Vietnam picked out the best team to compete in their first tournament in Singapore. North Team. The North Team was not very active and played only against other communist and pro-communist countries from 1956 to 1966. They had their first match against China Prairie where they lost 5-3 under head coach Truong Tan Bu. They participated in the first Genfo competitions at Indonesia in 1962 and Cambodia in 1966. The North Team was the national team of Democratic Republic of Vietnam between 1945 and 1975. The team ceased to exist when the North and South regions combined into the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. Most of North Vietnam's international games were played against other socialist countries. South Team. The South Team was the national team of South Vietnam controlled by Vietnam Football Association between 1949 and 1975. It took part in the first 2 Asian Cups finals, finishing 4th both times. They won the first SEA Games in 1959 in Thailand. The team also entered qualification for the 1974 FIFA World Cup. He played their last game against Malaysia in 1975 where they lost 3-0. The only World Cup which South Vietnam entered and played was the 1974 tournament in West Germany. They were placed in Zone A of the AFC and OFC qualification in Seoul, South Korea. On May 16, 1973 they beat Thailand 1-0 to qualify for Group 1. On May 20 South Vietnam lost their opening game 4-0 to Japan and 4 days later they lost 1-0 to Hong Kong and were eliminated. Hong Kong and Japan advanced but neither got any farther, losing playoffs for the next round to South Korea and Israel respectively. Present team, Vietnamese Professional Football League was launched in 1980 to redevelop Vietnamese football after a long period of civil war. V-League was the official name used since 2000 to 2001 season. In 1989, following the AAMI reforms, a new football federation was formed. Vietnamese sports began to return to international events. After 3 months of preparation, in August 1989, the first Congress of the new football federation took place in Hanoi, declaring Vietnam Football Federation. Trien Nga Si Ka, Deputy Minister of General Department of Sports, was elected President of VFF and La Tha was appointed General Secretary. The Vietnam national team was created once again and played their first match for 18 years against the Philippines in 1991 where they had a draw. In 1996, along with other Southeast Asian teams, Vietnam participated in the first Tiger Cup where they finished in third place. Vietnam hosted the second Tiger Cup in 1998 where they were defeated by Singapore in the final. 2007 AFC Asian Cup co-host and triumph. In 2007, Vietnam hosted the AFC Asian Cup for the first time along with Thailand, Indonesia, and Malaysia. They beat the UAE 2-0 and drew 1-1 with Qatar in the group stage. Though they lost 4-1 to Japan, they were still able to go on to quarter-finals and were the only host and only Southeast Asian team to reach quarter-finals. In the quarter-final they were defeated by the later champion Iraq, 2008 Aff Suzuki Cup Triumph. In the 2008 Aff Suzuki Cup, the successor to the Tiger Cup ASEAN Football Championship, Vietnam defeated the defending champion Singapore 1-0 away from home in the semi-finals after a goalless draw in Hanoi. They also defeated Thailand 2-1 in the finals away from home. In the final second leg, Thailand scored the opening goal that leveled the aggregate score to 2-2, however Vietnam's star Le Cong Vinh scored a late equalised goal from Nguyen Minh Phuong's free kick, which gave Vietnam 3-2 aggregate win and its first title in the regional tournament. Kits. Vietnam's current kit sponsor is Nike. The contract started in 2009 which will end by the end of 2014. Vietnam was also sponsored by Adidas and Li Ning, the Chinese sport company. Li Ning kit was worn during their Aff Championship in 2008 which they won the title for the first time. Vietnam did not have any kit sponsor for 2005. The tradition home color for the Vietnamese team is all red with yellow trim and the away color is all white with red trim ever since they started the contract with Nike. With Adidas, it was just red and white. National Stadium. Ma to the First AANH National Stadium is a stadium in Ma to the First AANH Commune, Ta Liam District, Hanoi, has a capacity of 40,192 seats and is the centerpiece of Vietnam's national sports complex. It was officially opened in September 2003 and was the main venue for the Southeast Asian Games later that year, hosting the opening and closing ceremony as well as the men's football and athletics events. The stadium is home to the Vietnam national football team, and hosts its home international matches. Located in Ta Liam District, 10 kilometers northwest of central Hanoi, the 40,000-seat stadium is the second biggest in the country and was built at a cost of $53 million. Arched roofs cover the grandstands on the east and west sides of the arena, providing shelter for half of the seats. The area provides training facilities for the teams with 2 football training grounds conveniently located next to the stadium. Sponsorship. Primary sponsors includes Nike and Honda Vietnam. Local sponsor includes Exim Bank, Petro Vietnam, Ho Senator Group, Corva Paint, Boss Paint, Dong Loop Group, Vettel Mobile, Kyrlong Steel, Thai Sun Nam Group, Phan Lan Nung Shea Group, Can Bon Du Group, Hugh Lian A Shao Joint Stock Company. Schedules and results, all-time are Indo-China time. AAAA a win, AAAA a draw, AAAA a loss. Players, current squad. The following players were called up for international friendly against Myanmar on July 2, 2014. Caps and goals are updated as of July 2, 2014 after match with Myanmar. Recent call-ups, the following players have also been called up to the Vietnam squad within the last 12 months. Current coaching staff, managers, coaches by year since 1991, competitive records, FIFA World Cup.